Woodman here. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. This is a quatrain from Omar Khayyam. He lived between May 18th, 1048, and December 4th, 1131. He's notable for his work on the classification and solution of cubic equations, as he was a polymath, where he provided a geometric formulation based on the intersection of conics. He also contributed to a deeper understanding of Euclid's parallel axiom. As an astronomer, he calculated the duration of the solar year with remarkable precision and accuracy, and he designed the Jalali calendar, which is a solar calendar with a very precise 33-year intercalation cycle, which provided the basis for the Persian calendar that is still in use after nearly a millennium. Many poems have been attributed to Khayyam, made popular by translations by Edward Fitzgerald. Agatha Christie used the moving finger as a story title in one of her works, and Stephen King also borrowed from it as well in writing and having writ. All this relates to time, and so let's talk about time symmetry. Time symmetry can be understood as the following. If time were perfectly symmetrical, a video of real events would seem realistic, whether played forwards or backwards. Gravity, for example, is a time reversible force. A ball that is tossed up, slows to a stop, and then falls is the case where the recordings would look equally realistic forwards and backwards. The system is considered to be T-symmetrical. However, the process of the ball bouncing and eventually coming to a stop is not time reversible. While going forward, kinetic energy is being dissipated and entropy is increasing as it goes from low entropy to high entropy. Low entropy being order and high entropy being chaos. So these are one of the processes that we question about the time reversibility of. When we increase entropy, then this means that we go from order to disorder. Thus, we are starting at a state of high order and we're going to a state of low order, which is chaos, random, and disordered. This is like the Big Bang process, which is that the universe was extremely orderly, but as it expands outward over time, it's becoming more and more chaotic and disorderly. So we're not going to have a mirrored process in a lot of the reactions that we see because we cannot perfectly return from a very ordered state to the original ordered state. There will be changes, and there's no way to just simply reverse those changes and go back to where we started from square one. This is partially due to the second law of thermodynamics. So let's talk about the arrows of time, which are said to move only forwards, not backwards, because this will more closely explain what's going on with time asymmetry. We first have the psychological arrow of time. The psychological arrow of time refers to the subjective experience of time flowing in one direction, from past to future. This concept is linked to human consciousness and memory, where we recall the past but not the future. We experience events sequentially and perceive time as moving forward. Now, that's at least how most people view it. There may be other people that have different ideas on that, but what's universally accepted is that time moves forward. Let's talk about the radiative arrow of time. The radiative arrow of time deals with the direction of electromagnetic radiation. For example, light emitted from a source spreads outwards and doesn't spontaneously reassemble back into the original source. This outward propagation of light and other forms of radiation provide a clear direction of time. In other words, it goes forwards, not backwards. Let's talk about the thermodynamic arrow of time. And so the thermodynamic arrow of time, which I kind of alluded to earlier, is based on the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy or disorder in an isolated system tends to increase over time. This principle explains why processes like mixing liquids, melting ice, or the spreading of gas in a room are irreversible, and why we perceive time as moving forward. For example, even if you took an ice cube and you melted it and then you attempted to refreeze it, what you're going to have is not the original ice cube, because by that point it will turn to water. The water will be spread out. It's not going to just return to its cube state. What about the quantum arrow of time? The quantum arrow of time relates to the behavior of quantum systems and the process of measurement in quantum mechanics. When a quantum system is measured, it collapses from a superposition of states to a single state. This collapse is not time reversible, suggesting a direction of time from quantum events. And I've done previous videos about that, where I talk about the collapse of the wave function, that we have a superposition of multiple different states that are possible, but once we measure something, it collapses to a single state, and that's it. But that it may be under the multiverse theory that those states are being reflected in different universes. Now let's talk about the cosmological arrow of time as it relates to the expansion of the universe. The universe is expanding rather than contracting. This expansion provides a direction for time moving from a highly ordered state, which we know from science as the Big Bang, to a state of increasing disorder. In other words, we are not going to be able to control the expansion of the universe. It will expand as it will, and it will continue to get worse with time, and it's not very reversible that we know. The causal arrow of time is based on the principle of causality, where causes precede effects. This principle underlies the structure of physical laws and our understanding of events in the universe. An effect cannot occur before its cause, reinforcing the unidirectional flow of time. I will touch back on this later in the video, but let's keep going. Particular physics arrow of time. This arrow refers to specific physical processes that exhibit time asymmetry. For example, certain particle interactions and decay processes in particle physics do not behave the same way when time is reversed, indicating a preferred direction of time. So, again, you know, this all tends to suggest that we can't just simply go back to our original state of things, that the decay itself is a chaotic process. So let's talk about quantum decoherence and the causality loop. In quantum decoherence, this is the process by which a quantum system loses its quantum behavior and starts to behave classically due to its interaction with the environment. Decoherence explains why we do not observe superpositions in the macroscopic world and why quantum systems appear to choose a specific state when measured. It essentially provides a bridge between the quantum and classical realms, explaining why classical objects do not display quantum superposition. And remember, by quantum superposition, we mean that there are multiple outcomes that could occur, but at some point when we measure things, we're only left with a single outcome that we can perceive. Presumably, if the multiverse theory were true, then those other outcomes would be reflected in other universes that we can't see. The causality loop is a theoretical concept in which an event is among the causes of another event, which in turn is among the causes of the first mentioned event. This creates a loop where cause and effect are intertwined, making it challenging to distinguish the beginning and the end. Such loops are often explored in science fiction and discussions of time travel, where an event in the future influences an event in the past, which then causes the future event. Now, why did I bring a lot of this up? Well, first off, let's summarize what we've learned so far. The various arrows of time offer different perspectives on why time seems to flow in a single direction, influenced by physical, psychological, and cosmological principles. Quantum decoherence explains the transition from quantum to classical behavior, while causality loops challenge our conventional understanding of cause and effect. These concepts highlight the complexity and interconnectedness of time, consciousness, and the fundamental laws of physics. So why I actually have brought all this up is because the reason I'm creating this video today is because I had a dream which influenced me to create this video today. That's right. As I've talked about in other of my videos, sometimes I have these strange dreams which provide a wealth of very valuable information. A lot of it, I believe, may be exploration of other planes of existence that we go to when we sleep at night. There be the ethers, the astral plane, whatever the case may be. But also sometimes there are downloads which come from our ancestors, from our spirit guides, from the ascended masters, and even from the Most High God. If the crown chakra is supposed to be considered the pinnacle of our chakras in our body as it extends forward into the heavens, then I have been told on multiple occasions that I have a very strong crown chakra, one which allows me to tap in to the mysteries of the divine. I guess one person would roughly, although I think it would be very clumsy to describe it this way, but one person may roughly describe this as being a channel to God, right? And so my whole life has been strange in a lot of ways because there are certain things that I'm drawn to, and I don't know why I'm always drawn to them, but I just am. And in that respect, there is something going on that's more than meets the eye. Something going on that's more than just mere science can explain. And so, as I come to this video, 2 nights ago, I had a dream. That I went through a sequence of events in the dream, and that I was somehow able to travel through time. But that upon returning to the past, that it may have created a problem, that I might have broken a causal loop. Now, why I was even thinking about causal loops in my dreams, I have no idea because I haven't even really studied causal loops up to this point in time, which is very interesting. I mean, I might have picked the term up somewhere, but the fact that I was that interested in it meant that something needed to be explored. And so it is in exploring that which came out of the dream that I came to make this video. Because the idea of breaking the causal loop, I couldn't even understand what that meant until I actually did the research and understood the material for making this video. And in a sense, maybe I have broken the causal loop because here's what goes on. If, as we understand it, that time only moves forward, then what's happened is I've received downloads in the past which led me up to this moment in the future, which in of itself is kind of a form of time travel, because now what's really happening is that the dream is actually showing me the future, and I, being a slave to what was seen in the dream, obeyed, and therefore this event occurred. I did not run away from it. I chose to embrace it, and now I am delivering this video to you. So that means that somehow in these other dimensions that we can exist in, time is not a barrier, and that it's almost as if my future self wanted me to be led in this direction so that I could become self-fulfilling. In other words, that I would reach this moment in time. My future self was already there, but it chose to send a message back in time to me to then bring me to this moment and to create this video and to deliver this message. That's pretty deep. So on that note, I'll sign off. Woodman heading out. This is the 4th of July, so I'm wishing you a happy 4th. It is the Independence Day of the United States. A lot of people may have different opinions on that because of the experiences that we've had in the United States. But if nothing else, this is our home. This is our country. We should celebrate it. If you're new here, welcome aboard. This is a safe space. If you're returning, welcome back. You make this channel possible. I love you all. I love you. I love you. Have a wonderful 4th. Have a great day and a great coming end to your week. Take care. Bye.